Okay, so on to the next track / performance in Christina's Harmony of Hearts. It's all Ren. You guys are absolutely going to love it. This one has been requested quite a few times, and I just didn't manage to get to it, but now it's part of the Harmony of Hearts, so we're going to take a look at it now. It's How to Be Me live. So many people have requested this. We just reacted to Murderer. That was absolutely fantastic. For those of you who are only joining now, I suggest you go back one and start from there. We're wrapping up these Harmony of Hearts this week. There's going to be a lot of content dropping today, and there's going to be a lot of content dropping tomorrow and the next day and the next day until we wrap these Harmony of Hearts up. We do have a new series that's running called Monarchy of Queens. Links all down in the description. You guys can go and take a look at that. The booking form actually will open up in the next day. We're actually doing a bit of an update, so we've had to close the booking form, but it's going to open up again in the next 24 hours. So yeah, links are all down in the description, as you know. Thank you, Christina. Let's rock and roll. Ren and Chinchilla, which I absolutely love as well. How to Be Me live. Let's go.
1, 2, 3, 1. Oh. I don't feel safe in this bed. There are voices in my head. I've been talking to the dead, and the fear baptized me. My kingdom turned to dust.
The fear baptized me, so it's almost like it solidified me. It actually confirmed me into its cult. So it's basically, I just can't get rid of this fear. I've literally been baptized into the devil's domain. Come on, man, that's fire. It's fire. I love the way he's so descriptive with the way he writes.
My kingdom turned to dust, and I watched all my riches rust. Have I lost the Midas touch, or do sad eyes blind me?
Ooh.
Over and over we go.
I love that introspection over there. So he says, my riches have turned to rust. So everything that I attained, everything that I worked for is now decaying, essentially. And how did I get those things? How did I get all those riches? I got those riches because I had the Midas touch. Right? But somehow I fell into depression. Somehow I fell into tumultuous, dark times. And he says, I don't know, maybe it's just because my sad eyes blind me, right? And that's how I lost the Midas touch, and that's how his riches, that's why everything. And when he speaks of riches, he might not be speaking of riches in terms of the monetary sense. He might be speaking to it in terms of the relationship sense, in terms of like, I had the finesse, I had the fragility, I had the vulnerability, but all of that sort of fell away, and my true riches literally decayed and they rusted away. I felt like a king. I no longer feel like a king. Right? I like that. I just love how descriptive, because you could literally expand in this in so many different ways. But it's beautiful.
Over we go, over the hills and the valleys below. Oh, and it follows me home, and it suffocates me.
Beautiful.
I can't breathe. I said, oh, I can't breathe. All I know is I forgot how to be me.
And how often does that happen in a relationship? In a lot of relationships, right? People actually try to be a version of themselves. They try to be a version of something that they're actually not because of the partner. And the thing is, your partner might want you to be a certain way, but your partner falls in love with you initially because of who you actually are, whether you're funny, whether you're kind, whatever it is, right? That attractive force in the beginning was you, essentially. And the deeper you go into the relationship, everybody has those things that people don't have. Like, we're all fallen souls. We all make mistakes, and we all have our own sort of like idiosyncrasies that other people don't like. But in that relationship, it's about the communication, and it's about the compromise and the working with each other, right? But if it happens where it becomes like a power play, in the sense that in order for you to be around me, you need to be a version that I am accepting of, not a version, not who you are. It needs to be a version I'm accepting of. That is literally how, essentially, the proverbial riches start rusting. Is essentially what he's trying to say over here. Okay, because it's like, and a lot of people feel like that in a very relatable song, in the sense that, you know, I felt that in my first relationship, my very first love. I kind of felt like it wasn't who I was. Like, I literally was being completely different. And that's what actually made my partner happier. And it didn't do any good for me. It didn't do any good for her, because I was a version of, I was just miserable. I wasn't happy. I was always sort of anxious and things like that. And she was like fine with it. And the moment, like, she saw, because I wasn't that happy and because I couldn't be who I was, then eventually it eroded the relationship, not only on my part, but her part, essentially, because that miserable side tends to come out, essentially, right? It just doesn't work for anybody when you're not yourself. It's like, you are who you are, be yourself, and if they don't accept it, then it's fine, then it's cool. We're just not meant to be together. Not everyone's made for everybody, but at a certain point you need to understand, okay, well, you know what, this guy's character is just really not for me. You know what, instead of trying to change him, I just like, let's call it quits, because it's never going to work. It's never going to work. You can't change somebody, because eventually that will, you know, that true character will eventually shine through, and it's just gonna cause unnecessary turmoil.
I don't feel safe in these halls. There are bruises on the walls. There are bodies in the floors, and they breathe so loudly. I wish I could move, get up and walk right out this tomb. Do our saviors die too soon for my...
I wish I could move. I wish I could walk right out this tomb. It's almost like I've been mummified, right? Oh, that's fire. That's fire. That's so cool. So it is actually giving credence to the relationship in terms of like, there is a foundational element over there where in the beginning it actually almost felt like he had a kingdom. But then afterwards, it's like he was mummified and he was put in a dark place. And it's like, I wish I could walk out of this tomb, essentially. And actually, if you look deeper into that line, if you actually think of the tomb itself and you think about what's on the walls, the bruises on these walls could literally be the actual sort of calligraphy and inscriptions on the wall. If you think about ancient Egypt, right? There's a story to tell. Those bruises tell a story, much like the hieroglyphics. Is that the word? Anyway, you know what I mean. On the actual insides of the pyramids and tombs, I like that. I actually really like the way they did it. Again, very descriptive, because it paints a picture in your head. At least it painted that one for me. Everyone's different.
Do our saviors die too soon for my sins, sir?
That whole scheme speaks to sort of pharaohs and kingdoms and things like that. So it's literally saying that this relationship was a kingdom, and then literally, I wish I could walk out of this tomb. Everything plays in that vein. And then did our saviors die too soon, right? The people that lead the people, essentially, the pharaohs and the things like that, did they die too soon? Is there nobody to lead them, right? I like that. That's very cool. The way they play that entire scheme paints a very vivid imagery in your head.
I wish I could move, get up and walk right out this tomb. Do our saviors die too soon
also, sorry, I apologize for pausing there, but just thinking of something else with regards to the tomb, right? When you're actually in the tomb, you're mummified, which means that you are bandaged all over, which means that the hurt is so significant, right? It feels as if that, it started off with one bandage and eventually all that pain sort of wrapped you up in bandages to the point that you can't move, where it became the death of you, right? So I like the fact that they use tomb, because that will play into mummies, which plays into their pharaohs, which plays into like the legacy of the relationship essentially, but also the pain which plays into the bruises, it all connects. It's all very, very clever. Tomb speaks to mummy. Mummy means you bandaged up, essentially. And because of all the pain, there were all small cuts, but those small cuts eventually killed you. I like that.
Is die too soon for my sins surround me. Over and over we go, over the hills and the valleys below. Oh, and it follows me, and it suffocates me.
And they're both speaking to each other.
I can't breathe. I said, oh, I can't breathe.
Chinchilla's voice is amazing.
Yes, I forgot how to be me. Hallelujah. Where is my God? Where are you? Hallelujah. Nothing is pulling me through. Hallelujah. When I don't know how to be. Hallelujah. I forgot how to be me.
Wow, now I see why you guys have been wanting me to do this.
When he gave up the fight, a quick decision late in the night that stayed with me for all of my life. I miss you so.
Wow. Beautiful song. Very intimate song. I like the fact that they made it intimate. I like the fact that the connection between the two, it was like the pain was felt by both of them. And the intimacy was felt in that tight shot, right? That tight camera shot made it feel very intimate. It made it feel very vulnerable. Right, like there was a vulnerability over there that you could feel it. You could feel that there was a fragility in the relationship. You could see that it was painful on both sides. It's both how they felt. It was a true heart-to-heart conversation, essentially, but in song form. All right, and essentially they're saying the same thing to each other. Right, that's the crazy part about it, is they both feel the same way, and they don't even know it until it comes to a dire point where it's all it's all ending, and all it needed was this. That all it needed was 4 minutes of vulnerability, and it maybe could have been saved, but it got to a point where it wasn't. Anyway, you guys let me know what you think down below. That was absolutely beautiful. Loved that. That was beautiful. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.